So it's time we stop treating childcare as a side issue or as a women's issue and treat it like the national economic priority that it is for all of us. And that's why my plan will make quality child care more available and more affordable for every middle class and low-income family with young children in America, by creating more slots and a new tax cut of up to $3,000 per child per year. So I'll be taking new action to help states adopt paid leave laws of their own. And since paid sick leave won where it was on the ballot last November, let's put it to a vote right here in Washington. Send me a bill that gives every worker in America the opportunity to earn 7 days of paid sick leave. We still live in a country where too many bright, striving Americans are priced out of the education they need. It's not fair to them, and it's sure not smart for our future. And that's why I'm sending this Congress a bold new plan to lower the cost of community college to zero. We will continue to hunt down terrorists and dismantle their networks, and we reserve the right to act unilaterally, as we have done relentlessly since I took office, to take out terrorists who pose a direct threat to us and our allies.
And our political reporter Rick Albin is in Washington for tonight's speech. Rick, did anything jump out to you as surprising tonight?
Not so much surprising, Marley, although I just heard one of my NBC colleagues say what was probably the most important point from this speech is we now know what the economic issue for the 2016 election is likely to be, at least for Democrats. It's going to be that middle class squeeze. We had been told the president would talk about trying to help the middle class, and he said the middle class needed help on everything from college tuition to child care to buying homes and retirement. You heard how he addressed some of that. He said the economy is better. He said it's a lot better, and he took credit for that. He said the verdict is in on the economy, but he also said that that big gap in wages between the haves and the have-nots, if you will, is too big, and he says something has to be done about that. He said part of the answer might be some type of an infrastructure plan that would put a lot of folks to work. He's talked about that before, and he also said he'd like to raise taxes on some of those highest earning Americans to help pay for some of those other middle class breaks, and all of that, of course, will be a point of contention with Republicans, who now lead both the Senate and the House, and that's going to be one of the big questions to see if this populist message that the president laid out there this evening is going to resonate enough with the public that Republicans and Democrats will start talking to each other instead of at each other. And tonight it's just too early to tell, Marley.
All right, Rick, and of course we always hear from those on the other side of the aisle. So what are you hearing from our local lawmakers?
Well, I spent the day, as you know, talking to, I think, 7 of our delegation here throughout the day. They all had a pretty good idea what was going to happen, and we already knew that it was going to fall down along party lines. I think since the speech, we've heard from at least one of our lawmakers along the lakeshore with Congressman Bill Huizenga. This is what he had to say.
He went through an entire list, and as he said that he wanted to work with people, he issued a number of veto threats and ultimatums in this speech. So I don't think it was really quite the coming together speech that he was trying to play it off as.
Now, I talked with Congressman Huizenga earlier today, and he said he hoped the president would reach out to Republicans in the House and the Senate and try to work together as co-equals. There's a real disconnect, I think, for Republicans, particularly in the House, that believe the president has not tried to work with them, even though they have been in the majority. Now that Republicans have the majority in the House and Senate, we'll see if any of that changes, if the dialogue changes. But one of the things we do know is that the president and his administration are going to continue to press this middle class message. We'll see how that resonates with the American people. And of course, I'll be back in Michigan tomorrow. We got a lot more. We talked to a lot of our lawmakers. They had a lot to say about not just what's going on with the State of the Union, but also some of the big issues that are coming up in the early part of this year, as we will continue our coverage as we do around the clock with lots of politics, because it all matters to you, whether it's here or in Lansing, Marley.